far as you going to Fresno State, not being one of the major conferences, do you feel like you had more of a hurdle overcoming that area?
Yeah, it's like I'm playing with a chip on my shoulder. Every workout I come to, because I didn't go to a big school and I probably didn't play against the competition that the other players played against, but that's just where that's what I feed off of. I think ultimately I got the advantage because I'm playing for something, and I just try to take it to these guys every day.
For people who don't know about you, how would you best describe your game?
As far as comparison?
What's your playing style? What's your playing style? What's your best attributes?
I think just being a versatile, being at 6'8", 6'9", being able, like I say, play, up to 3 different positions. Well, guard up to 3 positions and play 2 positions. I think that's where, I feel like I'm really strong at.
With the 10th pick in the 2010 NBA Draft, the Indiana Pacers select Paul George of Fresno State University.
Paul George from Fresno State, 6'9", 214 pounds, almost 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals a game. He led the team in all those categories this past season. He originally signed with Pepperdine out of high school before a coaching change compelled him to transfer to Fresno State. What kind of player is he, Jay Billis?
Stu, he's a little bit of a late bloomer. A guy who's 6'8", he's got a 6'11" wingspan, so he's long, he's very versatile. He's got all the tools. He's got a very good shooting stroke. He's got good quickness. He's got speed, and he's improved over the last year and a half. He's improved as a finisher. He's improved as a free throw.
Reportedly said, in 5 years, you'll be the best player in this draft class. Why do you think he said that?
I just feel like I got a lot of potential to continue to grow. And, I think just getting put in this system and this organization with Indiana, I think the sky's the limit. And I really want to work to reach my full potential.
Anything crazy happens, let him break a sweat and go have a seat, young fellow.
Nice crossover by Paul George, and he fires up hard.
That was very nice. I think he's awake now.
The leading scorer for the Pacers. They get it to George, though. Drives, reverse layup, good! And the foul! A chance for the Pacers to take the lead.
30 seconds left in the third quarter.
I'm telling you, the defense has been excellent here.
He got away with a double
This
dribble.
is a tough shot to take.
Uh-oh, here comes a thunder dunk! Well, Quinn, it's been Paul George with 3 big baskets here that has elevated the Pacers to a 12-point
take. Great shots, not good shots. Wide open shots early in the clock. Frank Vogel's okay with that as we get a turnover. Collison going the other way.
Second in a row by the Bulls. George the finish at the rim. Indiana by 6.
Maybe just the wake-up call the Chicago Bulls needed. Tom Thibodeau is going to get a timeout here.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're a terrific shooter in general.
His offensive game, he shows spurts, but he's just got to get a little bit there. See that defense right there.
And here he comes on the run against Boozer. Bill is left wide open at the top and missed it, but the putback is good by Paul George.
Mavericks have 5 blocks tonight. They had 10 on Wednesday. They had 12 against the Spurs on Sunday. Not getting any shots to go down, struggling to maintain possession. Defensively, though, they're trying to get something done. They clog up the paint. Layup was missed, but an offensive rebound for David West, and it goes to Paul George, who hits his 5th 3 of the game.
He ain't going to miss those tonight either.
Can he beat George down there? No, he can't. He blocked it and stayed in bounds.
Jen looked over and saw Jones. I don't think he knew George was coming up on him.
And at the other end of the floor, he hits his 6th 3 of the game, Paul George.
Really gives LeBron something to think about. He forces him to either pull up for a floater or make a pass. Paul George cuts the Heat lead. Now to 1. Paul George. George, it counts, and the foul. Paul George with the bucket And he'll go to the line. The foul committed by Joel Anthony.
Oh, nice play there from Indiana. Probably too little, too late. But on the rotation, George frees himself up. Nice pass from Hansgrove, but for the most part.
Stolen by Augustine.
Getting out and running. It's George. Throw it up to him. And when I say George, I mean Paul George, who's been pretty much the offense here in this second half for the Pacers.
On one end, they had a 7-point lead, but 7 quick points by Indiana. And the Pacers right back, tied at 72. What?
Oh, he got it.
Out to Paul for another 3. Good again!
He really is feeling it now. Now you got somewhere to go. One more time.
Here's Paul George again.
Let it
for
go.
3.
Let it go. Let it go, Paul George. Let it go.
Paul George having his best game of the year. Another 3. And the G2 zone goes wild. And the Pacers lead 97-93. 25 points in the second half.
He's been looking for a breakout game, struggling a little bit. But you can see that's pure from there. He and Lance Stevenson has a little celebration, and then he and Paul and George Hill, that was an offensive foul too.
And here's Paul George for an 8th.
Yes, sir. He just got it stuck on automatic out there.
And he has a career-high 32. West, he was the go-to guy the other night, and makes a bad pass, saved by Hibbert. Here's Paul George, a 3 again!
He barely caught the ball. There was 11 seconds on the shot clock, and he just let it go.
Paul
That's
George
the song.
has hit 9 threes, and he has 37 points.
Here comes George, got the step and stops one move and counts on the foul. He beat LeBron James with that quick step. A sensational move by Paul George.
We are seeing a superstar in the making here with Paul George. Gets the step on LeBron James. The Birdman is just a little bit late, rotating over, and click, click. Birdman, this is your Kodak moment.
That was ridiculous.
Now Stevenson with 8 to shoot. In the post to Hibbert.
Good job faking it.
Got the rebound. Throws it out to Paul George.
No, it should have reset. No, I can't believe that. Fortunately, you know why Paul shot it? The shot clock should have reset. It hadn't reset. And when he looked at it, he let it go.
How far was that?
He was about 5 steps behind the three-point line.
Paul George. He's 5 of 6 behind the arc.
Oh, got that steal too.
And here he goes.
Here we go.
PG.
What you got?
Puts on
Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah, PG!
That is the one.
That
There's
has to
no
be the
question.
one. Oh,
that
my
is
goodness.
the one. Look at this again.
Oh, boy.
I mean, that's slam dunk competition in a game.
Yeah, and as long as it
A team that lost 14 out of 15 games in the month of February, but got hot late and found themselves in the playoffs. Whoa, and a little style for PG.
Yeah, beautiful play, but also a great job by David West at the high post with 20 points.
West across the lane. Extra pass, George is open. Hits a three. Paul George coming alive in the second half. James stolen by George.
An absolute superstar in the fourth quarter. 21 points, 8 of 10 shooting. Getting them in all different ways. An off the dribble 2, an off the dribble 3, and then up 1, nails the 3 to give them a
uniform, that is. Jericho is a little bit too fast for his own good. Yep, this is the most important thing right now is making sure that these guys stay healthy. It's taking place opposite of Paul's injury. Paul George, surprisingly calm when you consider what we saw transpire a few moments ago with his injury.
And the whole rehab towards it was completely rough. From day one till, a year where I'm still rehabbing and still trying to gain everything back, plus more. It's been a journey. It was something that I had to go through, and it made me stronger as a person. What kept me going was just seeing the light. Everything was gonna heal fine. It started out as learning how to walk with a boot on. It took like a week to get used to. I could go up, take 10 steps and be out of breath. Then I had to learn how to walk with both shoes on and how to have a normal walk. Then it goes on to, learning how to run, how to jump, how to cut, just trying to gain that strength and muscle memory back. I didn't know the importance of weightlifting and conditioning. But then I made a change, and it was night and day in terms of how I felt energy-wise, how my body reacted to it. I've always worked hard, and I take pride in the work ethic. But it was almost like a reality check that, started me back in where I came from and how I started. I had to put that extra work in, extra conditioning. While those guys were practicing, I was on the bike for almost the whole practice. And the bike is it's boring. They're tired from practice. I wanted that. A lot of those guys wanted to trade places with me, but it was mutual. I like to get better. I like to improve my game. I take my summers very serious. Basketball is not a job. It's not my work. It's just what I love to do, so I leave all the outside distractions. I don't like to just do something. I like to be the best at something. It's almost like, what are you doing it for if you don't, have that motivation to be the best? That's how I look at it, because you only get one shot at it. And for the NBA, it doesn't come around for everyone. It's so many, players, there's so many guys that want to be in the NBA and want to play professional basketball that you got to keep up with them. No shortcuts to it.
And once he shoots this free throw, a chance now for Paul George to re-enter.
Number 14 fans, make some noise for Paul George.
He's on here, Chris. And the Pacers, they may or may not have practiced this with Paul on the floor.
Here's Paul George, his first shot is
good. He just kind of threw that one at the rim because he thought he might get a foul call. One of the things you'll get is a guy that can create shots.
Paul George.
Got his first one to go, partner.
And it was vintage Paul George, wearing number 13 for the first time in his Pacers career.
Paul George has not scored this quarter. Over Jordan.
He's the one who fixed it.
Gets the shot blocked. Great help by Paul George coming from the weak side.
They've done it all night.
This ball without your shooter. J.J. Redick. There's of the second half, fifth of the game for Paul George.
George!
What superstars do, Ralph. The pace, the rhythm is all Paul George's game. He's dictating everything out there.
Chalmers trying to take it to him. George over him, got it to go, and the foul. Oh, what a shot from Paul George.
Mario Chalmers felt like he held his ground there. But George on the...
George breaking free, reverse. He went against the grain on the slam in all of Game 6. George, the fake, hangs, and hits. Paul George. And George has got it for Indiana. Under a minute to play. George gets bumped on the outside, and the Raptors are over the limit. "26 points for Paul George. 12.
The Pacers family, Zoe.
Yeah, I talked to Joe a little bit.
Oh! He threw it down!
This is unbelievable. He goes, and Capella come take that. That's posterizing there. Capella thought he had it, both arms up. Paul George goes up strong. Capella gets it.
18 for Gasol off the bench, and they have cut it to a 1-point Pacers lead. George draws the foul and hits the shot.
He made it.
What a shot by George, his second.
This time George goes right and stuffs.
Wow, reminiscent of Paul George in Miami throwing that one down. Go back to Paul George at the top of the key. Nobody challenging PG at the rim. Bang.
Thad Young could have turned around. He would have hit. Oh, my goodness.
Wide open. George on the run. And the pass from Stevenson.
Offense, defense, plays, free people, finding people, and he can do it.
Paul George put a little sauce on J.R. Smith and knocks down the three.
Jeremy Grant's chin, they both go down. 4 on 4. The floor spread. And George flexing. And after he packs it. Wow.
And he took quite a hit. Wow. Grant. George. Here we go. Step back 3. He got it. 1.4. We are tied. What a shot.
Will get open shots. Well, that's what the Thunder has done tonight. They've denied the drive. Oh, that's a pretty fancy drive.
Let me show you this first of all. Is this PG-13? Oh, no.
George. O'Neal goes down. George. Oh, he's not human. Paul George has made 8 threes. Abrinas over Exum. Off the rim. Rebounded by George. Peeks at the clock. George fires at the horn. He's got it. Paul George beats the buzzer.
Why do I keep hearing the same thing? Offensive rebound favors. Offensive rebound favors.
Paul George knocking it down from deep.
The weapons that kid has in his toolbox are incredible. Paul George.
You watch this, and as soon as he feels the contact by Crowder coming from behind, being too close, he elevates it. He knows he's going to get the call and shoot at least 3. Instead, he uses a little 11.
They're not going to use it. George with 5. George drives over Gobert. It's good with 0.8 of a second left to give the Thunder a 1-point lead. Timeout, Utah. MVP caliber shot by an MVP candidate. Split into doubles and then over one of the best shot blockers in the league. Rainbows that one in to give the Thunder the advantage. Teardrop.
That was up there.
Got to think Paul George has to get a touch at some point, and he does. The 3-ball quickly. Got it! And one! My George!
Now watch him come off that. Here he comes off the screen, and then he goes up right away. You say, well, what happened? Butler was a half a step back. Why? Because the screen is a big screen by Adams. Now you still have to lead her.
Schroeder to get it into Westbrook. Westbrook over to George. George got the flyby. 3 on the way. It's good with 3.1 seconds. George gives the Thunder the 2-point lead.
Watch this, folks.
Time 3. As George was left open, made the right decision, got the flyby, plenty of time, and only fitting as he's got 47 on defense.
Gets his first rebound. Throws it away. George gets it back with Oubre to beat it. He flushes it in. And stares him down after the flush.
Right away, they're talking, and all of a sudden, PG say, "Oh man, I'm gonna get you back and put you in the rim." Instead,
Let Marcus Morris Sr. get to the middle. Wow.
Beverly comes away with rebound number 4. Clippers looking for the lead. George to the rack, reverse layup. Oh my! Reorganizes in mid-flight, lays it up and in, counted on a foul.
Because he's willing to give it up, he changes gears, Paul George, and finishes.
Nice
Nice look there, Paul George. Great job by
moving the basketball, looking to make plays for one another.
Three-pointer will go. Double on Jokic. He thought he got fouled. Beverly throws it ahead to Leonard. Leonard inside to George, adjusts and banks it home.
The thing that Mark did differently on his floater as George goes to the rim and finishes.
Has been very quick with the trigger, regardless of the shot clock. When he catches, he's making a quick decision. Paul George.
Oh my goodness! How nasty! So you're talking about rookie initiation? Well, this is the rookie initiation of Paul George on Isaiah Stewart. My goodness, it's not personal, brother. It's all business.
George. Oh my! Look out below! Oh, George getting into the act.
You gotta like that one.
We're giddy about it. As Paul George. Oh my goodness!
Love my partner, Paul George. Clear path and pulling it back.
Leonard on the floor for LA. George, big finish and the foul. He's the first son to score in a while besides Booker, who had 16 consecutive points for his team. George, step back, three-pointer. Oh, Paul George does it again, and we're tied at 93. Paul George gets it off in time. Oh, he banks it in. It's good. Paul George at the buzzer. Is knocked at the roll.
And those were cash in the first 4 games.
George on the pull-up, nails a three. Paul George answers.
Those two coaches, Mark, you were right. They did magnificent work. Two great young basketball minds. Such respect and admiration for each other.
We appreciate your participation, your energy.
And a rough ending for Paul George and the Clippers.
You are an important